So hello everyone, Volatile 42 here again, and I'm just getting home from a long day at work. I usually don't commute this late in the evening, but it's good to occasionally ride on the traffic-free Bangalore roads. It's just that in normal times, non-COVID times, what's the time now? Still I don't have a clock on this bike, so yeah, I can't really tell you the exact time, but it should be around 9 o'clock. So yeah, in normal times you wouldn't have such empty roads at 9 o'clock. Bangalore roads, they stay busy even around midnight normally, but now thankfully we can have some traffic-free roads later in the evening. So yeah, guys, I put back my AEW slip-ons with the DB killers or the baffles. If you remember from my earlier videos, I had some problems with the baffles. They were giving me some unwanted sounds. When I was decelerating, when I was closing the throttle, there was a lot of this, what you're hearing now, that verbal, that was there but much louder. Right now if I just close the throttle from a not so wide open position, it doesn't burble so much, but earlier, even from slightly opening the throttle and closing it, it would make that burble very loudly, and only from the right side exhaust, not from the left one. So I kind of figured that it was something to do with the baffle, because I had removed the baffles. See, when you get the AEW slip-ons, the baffles are already in, and most people put them in that way, and then they usually remove the baffles. Very few people put the baffles back in after removing them. So, oh shit, I just missed a turn. Uh-oh. Not a problem. So yeah, so in my case, I removed the baffles and put them back in, and what I figured was, when it was put back in, it wasn't properly aligned, at least on the right side. The left side was okay, but the right side wasn't properly aligned, and when I tried aligning them, well, actually the very reason I had taken them out was to put some Loctite in the screw that keeps it in place, because I figured, with the vibrations, it's better to put some thread locker in the screw. But turns out I actually spoiled it. The screws were locked so tight that I couldn't get them off, and I damaged the screws in the process. So so I had to eventually order new baffles, and when I was trying to put them in, I was having this challenge, I could not align them. I mean, for either of them, the left or the right. When I put it in, I tried aligning them, but when I put the screws on, when I tightened the screws, they would get misaligned. Okay, so the way it works is, this is the baffle. So it has a wider end and a narrower part of it that's inside the exhaust. So let me just try to draw and show you how it fits inside. So if you have the inside of the exhaust as like this, and the baffle fits inside like this. So you have the wider part here, and then it goes in like that. I'm not that good at drawing, so I hope you can understand from here. So this is the wider end. So this part, that's here. And if you see, there's a screw here, this thing. So that's what holds it in place. So the screw is around here somewhere, right? So that's how it's supposed to be. But when I put it in, what happened was it went in at an angle. So it was a bit like this. And instead of going in straight, it kind of went in like this. All right, so that was a problem. So basically, I tried to put it in straight, but when I tightened the screw, here, it kind of moved the baffle a bit, and it went in at an angle. And that was causing the sound, the weird sound, because I think somehow the exhaust gases were entering this area, resonating here, and somehow causing an echo kind of thing. So the solution was, somehow I had to put in something in these gaps, so that there would be no way that this would slide on either side. So it would kind of be held in place in the center, and it would not be able to move when the screw was tightened. So what I did was I got some glass wool or glass fiber, the same material that's usually used to pack exhaust baffles. So I got that, and I wrapped it around this thing tightly, and kind of in a way that it would be the same height or the same width as this outer part. So then when I put it in, it was snug against the inside of the slip-on. It wouldn't be able to move around, So then when I tightened the screw, it stayed in the center, like how it's supposed to be here. So that was the fix. So now there is still that burble, but it's from both sides, and it's not as loud as before, and it only happens when it's kind of proportional to how much the throttle is open before I close it, so it's kind of proportional to how much the engine is decelerating, like how high the RPM is before I close the throttle, and you get the picture, right? Whereas earlier, I would just be going slowly with little throttle input, and as soon as I would close the throttle, there would be that unpleasant sound, and just from one side, which I really didn't like. So I haven't come across anybody reporting this problem with the AEW baffles or any other exhausts with similar baffles. But if you have this problem, we could try the same fix that I did. So how do you guys like the sound of the AWs? If you ask me, like I said in my last video, when I had the slip-ons without the baffles, they do sound very good on camera, but they were way too loud in reality. With the baffles, they're not too loud, but they're still you know, loud. It depends on how much throttle you have open. Without I mean, when the throttle is just slightly open, it's quite fine, you know. It's almost the same sound as the stock, just louder, you know, that not that harsh cracking, just that mellow sound that you have from the Royal Enfield 650s, but just louder. But when you open the throttle a little more, like now, you have that cracking, and it's not too loud, but it's still not something I really like. I mean, it's not bad. I would have just liked that mellow sound to continue just being louder, but I guess that's not really possible from a 650. If you have a bigger engine, maybe you can do that. So, what bike is that? Is that the Husky? Yeah, it's a Husky. The short piston or the wet piston? I keep getting confused between those two. They just have the 250. I think they call it the 251 or something. That's all they have in India. They didn't get the 401 in. Yeah. I mean, the 401 would be much better. The, you know, the KTM 390 engine. So now they have the one with the KTM 250 engine. Doesn't quite interest me. So yeah, about the AEW sound. I know it sounds great on camera, doesn't it? It really does sound good on camera, because it kind of, you know, normalizes it. It doesn't let the harshness be felt. But when you really open the throttle, it gets a little harsh, but not as loud as you know, without the baffles. It's okay. See, right now, the sound, I like this. I like this part. But now you have that cracking. It's still okay. Not too bad. I don't think you can do much better than that on a 650. It's not a Triumph, it's not a Ducati. You're not gonna get that kind of sound from this displacement. There's no replacement for displacement, as they say. So one advantage of having the AWs over the stock, I mean, when I was waiting for the replacement baffles, I was actually running on the stock, and it was all fine. I mean, the sound isn't that bad, you know, especially in the city. You can hear it. It's only on the highways that the wind noise completely drowns out the exhaust, the stock exhaust sound. So the sound was okay, but I was really noticing the lack of throttle response, you know, with the stock. You know, I would have told you before, after putting in the Powertronic, the throttle response did improve, but with the AEWs and the Powertronic together, you get a much better throttle response. So even with the Powertronic in, if you're running the stock exhaust, you'll still notice the lack of throttle response. Alright guys, I think I'll end the vlog here. That's pretty much all I have to say, and take you along on a nice evening ride on some not so busy roads of Bangalore. Hope you liked it. If you have any questions, of course, let me know. And I don't know what the next vlog is gonna be. I really do want to go on a ride outside the city, but conditions here are really bad. I mean, not that it makes a difference. I mean, when you're going out on a ride by yourself, right, it shouldn't make a difference for riding all alone on the highways. So yeah, that's all I have, guys. Well done. 42 signing off. Bye bye.